nation rise. Wouldn't think of full time. So we stop being victimized, organize and centralize. Take the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise. Hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives. Now the ship up capsize. Open up your eyes. Firstly, every African a queen and king. Know your past and you will know yourself. Black man not got our color and no sin. Never trade my roots, me proud of my skin. Sing I forget the old slave master Jim. Pan back with a sting. And you know them now bring them from the plantation. Nowadays a prison. Hear the ancestors them singing African hymns. But we have to rise up in order to win. We have to see a floating sinkings and we can't sing. Call out the black leaders in our communities. We stand against injustice and stand for unity. And in a nation rise. Wouldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organize and centralize. Take the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise. Hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives. Now the ship a capsize. Open up your eyes. Freedom must come with a cost. You can't know the future if you don't know the past. If you sight the fullness, if you don't know the half. Them milk the mother cow and them want kill the calf. Check the status, it's off. The grid off the graph. Look how much blocky youths them kill off the Ross. Classism, racism, black brother them a ball. We have to fight all if we back against the wall. Like the Bengi roll. The Bengi roll. Go back to your roots and your window on yourselves. We did that with our friends, no one time to rebel. By the KKK, no black brothers, them hang them in the suburbs, we in a projects, yo, you know see the trend. In a 2020, yo, we still a go pretend. Like slave master and slave bikini, they my friend. Like Black Panther, take a stance, yeah, my friend. Can't play cover, rise up from lions den. Reaching out to the rude boys and all the ragamuffins. You will fall for anything if you stand for something. Black nation rise. Couldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organize and centralize. Take the shock.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Jamaica. Good afternoon, both to TikTok and YouTube. It's a pleasure to come here once more for Midday Connections. And today, Jamaica, I journey to the parish of Westmoreland. People think when I say I journey to the parish, mean that I'm literally in the parish. No. I virtually journey. So I don't physically go to this space, but I'm virtually in Westmoreland today. And being in Westmoreland, Jamaica, today I'm going to, as a matter of fact, I will be journeying to the entire Westmoreland this week. The entire Westmoreland I'll be journeying to this week. So I'm starting off in Central Westmoreland. Central Westmoreland. I'm starting today with Mr. Dwayne Vaz, because I really want to know what is happening in Central Westmoreland. And then we take it from there. So help me welcome Jamaica, Mr. Dwayne Vaz. Good afternoon, Mr. Dwayne Vaz. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, listeners. I'm doing very well, man. I'm doing good.
You're so far from the camera. What you do? You put. Why are you so far?
Come close. You see me well now?
Come on, man. Remember the people, the lady, them need to see you. Man, the lady, them still need to see the man who coming to take back Central Westmoreland. So, Mr.
Def-
Vaz, how you do?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You're enjoying life in Westmoreland, no? Very nice place, as you would know.
Enjoying life?
Of course, you have to take a hard life easy, you know, so you take it one day at a time and live it to the fullest. So even if
Mm?
you're working hard, you must be enjoying the job that you're doing. And because I am doing politics, I enjoy what I'm doing every day. So that's why I say I'm enjoying life.
Enjoying life. But I'm sure a lot of the people in Westmoreland Central not enjoying these moments. What's happening really?
Where we are now in Jamaica and the situation that we're facing as a country, I fully understand why people would not be optimistic. But I know that when the People's National Party returns to power, that level of optimism will change across the entire nation, which will include Westmoreland. So I am actually just saying things into being and using that same attitude with whatever person I meet out there to let them know that better days are ahead.
Better days are ahead. So can you give us a reality check as to what is really happening in Westmoreland? Can you tell me the divisions that are in Central Westmoreland again?
We have five divisions in Central Westmoreland. We have the North Savlamar Division, we have Savlamar Division, we have the Cornwall Mountain Division, the Petersfield Division, and the Frome Division. Just to let the listeners know, Central Westmoreland is the largest constituency in Jamaica when it comes down to the number of registered voters on the voters list. It has been like that for quite a few years now. So
How
it's
many
a very
voters
constituency.
list? How many people are on the voters list?
We have over 45,000 now,
45,000 persons on the voters list.
large constituency. So as I said, and geographically it's still one of the largest. So it's very hard to maneuver the entire constituency in comparison to those like, for example, constituencies in Kingston. So it's wide. We have a mixture of urban, we have a mixture of rural. So it's a very diverse constituency, and each division would have its own unique set of people and unique circumstances that surround it. So it's very diverse, as I said. But as I said, it's actually I'm from Westmoreland, so I really appreciate where I'm from. I want to ensure that I lead the process of developing my constituency and parish, and by extension, my nation, Jamaica.
So question, in the last local government election, how many of the divisions did the PNP take?
We took 4 of 5, and the one we lost, we only lost it by 17 votes. It was a direct message sent by the supporters of the People's National Party that we have taken step one, but we know that the bigger step is the general election that we will take when the elections are called.
So you took 4 out of 5, and the one that was lost was only lost by 17.
Yes, that's correct.
So based on those results, the present MP will be outgoing.
Well, that is the intention of us, and we know that from we continue to put in the work, we will get the results that we desire.
What is the current state of Central Westmoreland? Give Jamaica a picture today. What is the economy like? What are the road situation like? What is the water infrastructure like? What is the housing infrastructure like? What is the economy? I want you to spell it out today and let Jamaica know what Central Westmoreland is looking like today.
Well, where we are right now, we have not gained any momentum with regards to development since we left office in 2020. The roads have been the worst they have ever been. You know that the REACH program is going on now, so they are trying to patch some roads. Even though when you look at the quality of work that is being done, you realize that it's a horrid job, and the residents of Central Westmoreland are dissatisfied with what they are seeing taking place. The community roads are in a horrible condition. Everywhere you turn, people are complaining about the state of these roads. Many persons would have been affected directly, especially motorists with higher level of expenses to maintain their motor vehicles and stuff like that. So the roads are in a terrible condition. The water situation is bad. It's the first time I've ever seen so many people complaining about the water pressure and the lack of water. A lot of areas in Sablamar right now, which is not the usual thing to happen. A lot of areas in the town are complaining about the lack of water. We know that there are some situations outside of outside of South, like in the Petersfield and Cornwall Mountain areas. A lot of those areas usually have some water issues, but those issues have escalated also. There have been no real new projects to improve the water supply in the constituency and the parish. When it comes on to electricity regularization, you don't see any programs being put in place where people can actually have structured electricity across their particular communities. Those things have stopped again since we office. And we have when you think about sports, for example, it's non-existent. There's no entertainment. Right now, what we are seeing is the main entertainment complex we had. That is now where the headquarters for the police is being built. We are not saying that they should not build it there because we know of the issues with the Noise Abatement Act, but no alternative venue has been chosen in Westmoreland for entertainment. When it comes to sports, so that's the main sports ground in Westmoreland is now hosting a soldier camp that's up by the Froome Sports Complex where they're camping on the actual A field that we used to play the Premier League and Dacasta Cup matches on. So instead of improving the facility, how was that?
You said turn soldier camp?
Yes, that's where the soldiers are camping as we speak right now. And it's a big issue in the Froome community where the residents are very upset about it because that was the premier sporting facility in Westmoreland, the parish. So when you hear about Reno Ball Club playing matches, that's where the matches used to be played. So the complex is in need of rehabilitation, but what they are doing is tearing down the complex even further instead of building it back to where it is supposed to be. So we have a serious issue with sports there. When I was member of parliament, used to have sporting competitions across the constituency, football, netball, domino. Since I left, that has been non-existent. If you don't have a community person who actually comes up with an idea and tries to keep something in the community, read football or netball, nothing is being done from the political perspective from this member of parliament came in. When you look at land regularization, it's a major issue here because you would have heard of stories where we have houses being moved on tractors or donkey cars. The reason why you have that in Westmoreland is because of the lack of land ownership. And we had pledged from day one, we had the Operation Pride program back in the early 2000s because we wanted to get land titling process up where a lot of people that have their title and can show for it. So that the new PNP administration that will come in has already pledged that they will continue all of these Operation Pride programs so we can complete them. Because since we left, no land titling program has happened in Central Westmoreland. And we pledge that we'll do that so people can have a sense of pride and also to be able to use your title for their own personal development. When I think about agriculture, we know sugar is dying, and we have been proposing from day one for the government to find a crop that will replace the sugar so we can build up the level of economic activity that we have. There has been nothing coming forth, and we have been proposing that. I personally am proposing that the cannabis industry is that industry that can take us back to where we were. And I think the city is not taking like comfortable almost in Jamaica to get involved in this sector. So we have to look at that also. So we're falling behind in that area again in Westmoreland. And when I think about crime, I know crime has been going down in recent times. And every chance I get, I remind people that what is really happening when crime is going down now is because of the intelligence-driven policing that is happening now that we've been calling for from day one. Not the states of emergency where you take up everybody off the road and lock them up. That has not solved it. And I want the government to realize that since they have stopped the SOEs and start being smarter policing, crime has been going down. So we applaud the security forces for that. And we look forward to continue working hand in hand with them so we can have a safe place here in our constituency and our parish.
Okay. So the member of parliament that is there, is the said one that is alleged to be the woman beater, right?
Yes, it's the same one.
Oh,
This
George, right.
that is the same person who they have decided to continue with to run in the next elections.
But if they decide to continue with him, it is a good thing for you because the people, the women particularly, will be going with you in your direction. Don't you think so, based on his antecedents?
Well, to be honest with you, I've never really worried about who the opponent is because I know that as long as we do our work and do what we're supposed to do, we will win. So yes, when I think about it, as you just said, I should think that women should stand in a principled position and vote out somebody like that. But we are not depending on that for victory. We are ensuring that we go out there and preach our message so that people can understand what the People's National Party is going to do for them when we return to office. So that is what we're focusing on.
Interesting. So you spoke about the green goal being the cannabis industry.
Yes.
What are you really planning to do with the ganja industry?
Well, everybody in Jamaica knows that Westmoreland is known for ganja. And if you listen to the songs that people used to sing back in the days, they always direct it to Westmoreland when they want the good ganja. So know the importance of the industry, and we are in a position in Westmoreland because of the branding of it already to capitalize on something like this. However, we
Yeah.
cannot do it by ourselves from an isolated position. We have to have the cannabis licensing authority on board, meaning that what we're seeing now is that only a few people are
Yes.
able to get into the industry. So when we return to power, we have to ensure that the industry is opened up in a way where more people can afford to be a part of it and be able to make a livelihood from it. Because we are seeing other countries in the world moving forward with these products that we are known to have the best of. So why are we lagging behind on it? So we have to ensure that we revolutionize the whole cannabis industry from the
Yes.
authorities. Government must play a serious role in ensuring that the policies are put in place that will enable more people to benefit from this particular industry. And
Your plan
then
to make small farmers benefit more.
yes,
So you plan to make small farmers benefit more.
exactly, exactly.
Oh.
That's the intention.
So apart from the cannabis, what else you planning to do for the people of Central? Because the PNP has really dominated Central Westmoreland. It's the only time the Labour Party got Central Westmoreland was 2020. What new and different is the PNP offering to the people of Central Westmoreland?
Well, one correction is the second time they got it. They got it in that 1980 election also.
Oh,
But so
then the
it's one step ago. But what we are planning, one of the main things, one of the main issues we have is infrastructure. And I mentioned it at the beginning of the program where roads, electricity, water, these are things we must prioritize. So for example, the only main road that we have now that is in a very good condition would be the Ferris to Macfield main road, which was fixed when I was member of parliament. We prioritize the Savlamar to Grange Hill Road. The Hartford going up to Content Main Road must be prioritized also. And also the Torrington Road that goes up to Banbury and the South to Smithfield Main Road. Those roads must be prioritized when we return to office, and we intend to do it. I remind people all the time, when I became member of parliament the first time, the worst road we had in central Westmoreland was Ferris to Macfield. That was fixed when I was a member of parliament, and I intend to do more when I return as the member of parliament. I also remind people also that while I was there as MP, I was only in government for 1 year. The rest of the time I was in opposition. So it was very difficult for me to get everything done that needed to be to be done.
So once you were MP, your side was not in government. So you were
yes,
opposition member. They never get the resources like that.
and I tell anybody that to match my term as MP from 2014 to September 2020, from December 2014 to September 2020, when I was only in government from December 2014 to February 2016, match it with this current peace term. where his government has been in power for the 5 years he has been there. And I can guarantee if everybody go and check the facts, there is no comparison because the work I did far exceeds what is doing right now.
But you will also have to take into consideration that the government did banish him for some time, Is recently them taking back.
That was just a face scan. He was still supported fully by the government, and he supported them fully when he was there. You could see that he voted for everything with them in Parliament. The records are there to be shown. And they fully supported him while he was on the so-called backburner. But nothing was...
Oh, so it was basically a farce and a sham.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. They were just buying time and hoping that people would forgive him for what they alleged him to do.
So you say, going in with Mark Golding as Prime Minister and you as Member of Parliament, you are going to make sure that the road infrastructure is dealt with.
Definitely. And Mark Golding, as our leader, has also pledged to Westmorelands that Westmoreland will be a priority when he becomes the Prime Minister of Jamaica. So we know many issues, as I said, we spoke about the road infrastructure a while ago. One of the major issues, again, we must solve, as I mentioned earlier, is the land situation. Too many areas in central Westmoreland, people don't have the titles for these properties. So when we come, we will regularize these settlements, Operation Pride ones, and there are others that are there. So we plan to structure them in a particular way where people can have their titles and have the necessary infrastructure put in these communities, because we will formalize these informal settlements. That is a major thing that we have on the agenda when we return to government, whenever these elections.
I argue, Mr. Vaz, that you could have done it from 2014 to 2016. You could have regularized the people.
There are so many things from 2014 to 2016. We started one particular regularization because if you understand how these government processes work, when you start a process of regularization, it does not happen in a year or a year and a half. So that is something we also have to look on. I'm going to get into that, but something that we have to look at really inefficiencies in government with regards to the procurement system and all kind of stuff like that. There are a lot of red tape and bureaucracy is in government that we must change when we return. But I say that to say, for example, we started a program in an area called Maras in the Petersfield division. It was a collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and the constituency, where we started the process, gave the residents certificates of possession with the intention. The certificate of possession was just for them to have a legal document to show where their parts of land is. So they so we were supposed to go in now and develop the area and then give them the titles. Subsequently, we lost the election in 2016. All of those plans have been shelved since that. So we have to return
time till the next Parliament never regularized those people.
No, they did nothing since we lost in 2016. Nothing was done, because even though I was still a member of Parliament between 2016 and 2020, I could get nothing done for that particular thing, because the Ministry of Agriculture, because the minister was changed and everything, what they did was shelve the entire program, and we could get nowhere with it since 2016. So that is the problem. And since the MP came in 2020, he has done nothing to lobby his government to ensure that this particular settlement was regularized. Nothing they have done. So we know we must come back and complete these types of jobs so people can benefit in Central Westmoreland.
Education.
Yes.
What do you plan to do for the schools and the training centers in Central Westmoreland?
Well, one of the plans we have, which again, I must say, we have spoke about this almost every year in Parliament, because I've been trying to lobby hard across Jamaica to use up all of these community centers that they have and put structured training inside of them. So for example, in Westmoreland as we speak, we only have 3 heart centers in Westmoreland. One in Petersfield, one in White House, and one in the I don't remember the area in Westmoreland where it is at the moment, but only 3. It's a deterrent for people to have to leave Sab and go to White House, for example. And then we have 1 in Petersfield, 1 in White House, and 1 in just to get training for the hotel industry. That each center specializes in different things.
Yes.
What we are to bring the training to the people. So if you have community centers that are not being used, and that is why so many community centers across Jamaica are in the condition they are in, because it is not something that is easy to sustain from the community perspective alone. You need
Yes.
collaboration. So we're saying collaborate, use the community to collaborate with heart. Let heart bring the training in the community so it is more accessible to people instead of people have to go traveling very far distances to really get the training. And that is why we have so many people in Jamaica who are not trained as we speak right now. So the new People's National Party administration has already said that one thing they will do is put labs in every high school to ensure we start bringing the level 4 certification to the schools. So by the time they leave school, they will have a level 4 certification. So
Yes.
it's one thing. We also look at the situation where we're failing our students based on literacy. The percentage as we speak right now, 30% of people who leave primary school going to secondary school cannot read or write or have understand basic arithmetic. That is one
Yes.
problem. This continues into secondary school where less than 20% of people who leave secondary school leave with the basic 5 subjects which include math and English. So we understand
It
that
is.
we must invest in the child education from the child is born and going to school. We have to start it right there. Invest in
Yes.
that, improve teacher salaries and stuff like that so people can be motivated to stay. Because once we improve our literacy rate, then we know we will our whole economy as we go forward. We
Yes.
mentioned another for tertiary students because as we speak now, only 30% of people who can go to college are actually going because most times they can't afford it. That is
True.
why we are using the one per family university degree because we want everyone to be elevated on this social ladder, right? So that will be translated to what we are doing here also because I am big on education. While I was in the constituency as member of parliament, we had various education programs where we assisted people, whether
Yes.
primary, high school, or tertiary education. We had training with heart where we collaborated with heart and trained hundreds of people. We also had a job placement program in the constituency. And we also, even since not being the member of parliament, for the last 2 years, I've hosted successful job fairs in the constituency where a lot of people would have been employed because of the initiatives that we took. So we're doing it annually now, and we have been getting requests to do this biannually. So we're looking into that as we speak now, because the last one we had was November last year, which, as I said, was very successful in regards to the persons who would have been employed from coming to the our job fair. So we are looking at all different angles with regards to education and job opportunities and trying to put them hand in hand. Because we know when people educate themselves, people want decent paying jobs after they leave school. So we're trying our best to bridge that gap in our constituency.
Is there any plan for like tertiary education development in Westmoreland under your watch?
Well, currently we have the universities have programs here, like we have UIDI where UI does, we have the ICU program and stuff like that. But what we really need, just like how we have campuses in Montego Bay and Kingston, we have NCU in Manchester. We will
Yes.
want to have a large college or university campus somewhere in Westmoreland so our people can stay here and educate themselves. So it's something we are looking into, something we will discuss when we return to government with the party leader, because the policies of the organization will determine stuff like that. And investors, of course, will have to come in to assist with things like that. So, of course, it is a dream for us to have a university in Westmoreland.
So you spoke on education, you spoke about the development of the road infrastructure, you spoke about land titling and housing solutions with the returning of the Operation Sprite program. You spoke about revitalizing and legitimizing the cannabis industry and broadening the scope for the average farmer to become a part of the industry. But I want you to speak to me about the issue of the economy because a lot of people from Westmoreland say, Andre, nothing now go on. How you plan to fix the already stagnant economy, local economy in Westmoreland?
Well, as I said, it's a variety of things because what is really happening is that why people always say nothing now one is a lot of people can't get the jobs that they know they deserve to get. And a lot of them are low paying jobs. That is a major issue with that. So for example, even with the call centers that people will gravitate towards, down here we don't have a call center down here. So people have to travel to Montego Bay. And when you really check the salary that they get, it really comes back out in transportation and food costs. So they're really not making much money. So we're not opposed to the call centers because we would love to have one down here also. But what we would want is for these call centers now to, for us as a country, to attract the higher paying jobs that are still facilitated by these call centers. Because many call centers across the world actually pay very good money to their people based on the type of skills that they require of them at the particular point in time. So we have to train our people. This is why we want to improve the level of training in a lot of different areas, especially with these new emerging economies that we're seeing. We must ensure, for example, that heart is positioned in a particular way where they can
Yeah.
train people for the new things that are happening now and not necessarily the skills that we used to train them for in the past. So we are looking at it from that angle where we must revolutionize that industry so people can have high paying jobs in the call centers. We spoke of the cannabis thing. I know that the cannabis thing, if it takes off, which it should,
For
that
when?
a serious buzz with regards to our economic activities in our parish because many people, I'm sure, would be employed there and people would try to start their own businesses in that particular sector also. We have a tourism sector down here that is very attractive in the minds of many people because that is the industry that employs most of the people down this side. And we must continue to seek investment in the tourism industry to bring more people on board so have more jobs being available. And as I said, we just have to stress to these investors when they're coming. We don't only want our people to be line staff. We want our people to be managing these hotels also to benefit from the sweets, I would say, from the hotel industry. Because most of our workers now are at the lower end of the table. And a lot of times they're not really benefiting in the way that we really want them to benefit. So investment is key. We have to find different areas where we can get investment in the constituency and the parish because the more investment we get, it means more employment and higher paying jobs. So those are the areas that we really have to tackle to improve our economic activity in the constituency and in the parish as a whole.
But there is a sore point in the constituency, which is the Savlamar Hospital.
Yes, yes.
What you plan to do for the Salvamar Hospital? Because it's years now the Salvamar Hospital has been a sore point for successive administration. What you as Member of Parliament plan to do differently and uniquely to solve the issues regarding the Savlamar Hospital? Because many people call me and say that is a dead house.
Yes, but it's nobody wants to go there. That is the first.
I'm not hearing you, Mr. Vaz.
Things that nobody wants to go over there. When people get sick, they're afraid to go to the hospital because they fear the worst can happen. As in, they go in there, get out worse than they were when they got in there. The major problem over the hospital is overcrowding. And the only way that can be solved is through new infrastructure. We have heard of these plans that the government has from 2016 that they were going to build a new building at the hospital. Not building a new hospital, no, but building a new building to facilitate this
The overcrowding.
so that we don't have that issue over there. But every year we hear of the plan, but every year we also realize it is not in the budget. So it was not in the capital budget again this year, even though they were touting that something like that is going to happen this year. So we'll have to wait another year again. What we as a PNP administration has said, because we did a tour at the hospital with our opposition spokesperson, that's Dr. Dodds. You know, he senior medical officer at the Savannah Hospital. So he knows there very well. So he certain plans from one that can relieve us of some of the situation. So until that, in that building, as I said, is a priority and must be there. That is a must for us to get rid of some of these problems. Also, we have to take away some of the people who are going to the hospital and send them to the clinics, which means that we have to improve the level of service that we have at the clinics. We have a few clinics here in Westmoreland, so we must expand those clinics. And that in itself now will take off some of the pressure off the hospital based on what we're seeing right now. So the strategy of the PNP administration is not that we're going to invest heavily in the large infrastructure projects immediately, but we must invest by expanding these centers so we can reduce the burden that we're now seeing on the Sam Lamar Hospital. And that is the only way that we're going to reduce the overcrowding and improve the service. So you know overcrowding causes frustration for patients and for the staff. So everybody is having a bad day sometimes when they go to the hospital. And this is why people leave their disgruntled many times because of how the service is delivered. But you have to understand, as I said, professionals are there, but people are human also. And when they are working in certain conditions, you understand the difficulties that they face. So we are saying we must improve those conditions for the patients and for the staff so we can have a better hospital in Savlama.
So as you talk about the hospital, you see, me tell you, say, me a journey a Westmoreland, you know, because I know everything we have gone down there. What are you going to do about the market?
The market. Well, we are in discussion. The parish council read that the serious issue down there, they had done some repairs to the market. But the issue is that people just don't want to go inside the market for some reason or the other. I know that certain sections are leaking, but as I said, a section was rehabilitated recently, and people are still not in that section in the numbers that they should be. Everybody wants to be out on the road because everybody wants to catch the first customer. So something must be done to have it in an orderly manner. My vision for the market, though, is to have the market set up in a particular way where even tourists can come through our market as a tourist attraction. Because the market where it stands as we speak is right at where the old fort is. That's a potential tourist attraction for Savlamar. That is where ships used to come in back in the day with sugar and all kind of stuff. So we are saying that that's the area where we know cruise ships can come because the depth of the water is there. It is just for us to invest in it and develop it in a way like what Trulani is having right now in Fango. That is something I discussed with the former tourism minister while I just became member of parliament. I brought him down there. We started to put plans in place, but as I said, again, we lost the election in 2016, and then everything was shelved from there. So we are hoping to get that program back on track where we can invest in downtown Savlamar, where we improve the fort, start bringing tourists in that section, and of course, get the market to a level now when tourists come to the fort, then the market would be the first stop as an attraction. Because some countries have this, so there's no reason why Jamaica can't do it.
Idea, Mr. Vaz, but the nasty mucky market have to fix. You can't carry the tourists.
No, man, we would never. That's why I said. That's why I just said it. We want to develop it in a way, but that is my vision, as I said, to develop it in a way where it can become a tourist attraction. But as it stands now, what we need to do immediately is to ensure the entire market is in a condition that people will want to stay in there. And we have to remind persons now that when the market is fixed in that way, that they must go in the market to have some order on the road, because what you're seeing down there, it is chaotic down there when you try to go to the market. You can't find anywhere to park sometimes. People all over the place, vendors all over the place. So the parish council has to play the lead role in that. And as I said, I've been in discussions with the mayor and the parish council because we know that we must get it right with regards to the Savlamar market. So I know that the education part of it must be done where we let people understand why it is important for them to be orderly and be important for them to stay inside. Because people who are inside are complaining that those outside are making more money than them because those outside are seeing the customers first. And they're the ones now paying the fees inside the market and not making any money. So it must be a fair system where people go inside and customers go in and decide where they want to go. So it's something we have to look at, Andre, and it's a priority of the mayor. I know, because we have been talking about it, and we will ensure that it is sorted out in short order.
Mayor Delansky have to sort out the market with urgency, because what Mayor Swaby has done in Kingston, the amount of markets Mayor Swaby has fixed. Every other mayor across Jamaica should be able to match Mayor Andrew Swaby and fix at least one market. It's about 4 market Mayor Swaby fixed already in Kingston, you know. So every other mayor needs to sort out them market. What is the water situation? What is the water situation like in Central?
Well, as I was saying earlier, it is the first we are seeing so many places without water or complaining about water pressure. We know that most of the lines along, especially in the town area, most of these lines were put in place years ago. The population has probably tripled since that, so it cannot carry the amount of weight that it should. So a lot of these pipes need to be changed. So we're not sure what is happening. The Water Commission is always saying that it's because of low pressure and because of drought why we are facing some of these crises. But the only way it can be solved is through new infrastructure. And we must ensure that we come in and put in the necessary infrastructure so people can get water in Central Westmoreland and Westmoreland as a whole. But what we're seeing now is the worst we've ever seen it, and we're not seeing any programs being put in place to address the issue. It just seems like it's just a temporary solution each time they try to come in with. That is normally probably chopping off water, which is not sufficient, because when you chop water today, by 2 days' time, people need the water again. So it is not a system that is sustainable. We know it can happen and we use it in drought time, but right now, as we speak, we need to change out the infrastructure so that we can get water in the lines so people can have water in their pipes at home.
Interesting. So we touch on the issue of water, we touch on the market, we touch on the issue of the health center and the hospital. As you have said, we need to increase the capacity of the health center so it will take off some of the burden of the hospital. We spoke on education. Boy, we touch on a lot of things today. Somebody said that you don't come up at the Macfield area. And
that is true. I have been walking consistently since January, but we have a very large constituency. I have not walked Macfield as yet, so let that person know I'll be there sometime in this month. I will be in Macfield in April. So they are telling the truth. I've not been in Macfield to walk since I've started the walk program, and people are seeing me all over the place, and persons where I've not been to the community as yet have been calling and saying, you need to come here, and we are responding to the calls. So we will be everywhere. So trust and be assured that sometime in this month, you will see me in the Macfield community.
The gentleman say you that Cooper that he'll be in the Macfield area.
Okay.
So how is the political organization without spelling it out explicitly?
How is it? Well, the political organization of the PNP, we have been improving day by day. We understood.
Dwayne Vaz political organization.
I was really referring to mine. My particular machinery in Central Westmoreland has been improving day by day. We looked at the situation from 2020. We looked at where we went wrong. We looked at what we needed to do going forward. And we have been putting those plans in place. We have been listening to the people. People have been showing you every day you're on the road. People will say, Dwayne, you should have done this another way. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Based on those conversations with everybody, we have been able now to put a serious plan in place, and that we're at the moment executing day by day. So we continue to have our meetings with our workers. We had one even last night where we had a workers meeting. So the workers are ready, they understand what they are supposed to do, and we're fine-tuning as we go along. So as I said, not to say too much about it, but what I can tell you is that we have improved our organization significantly since we lost the election in 2020. And we look forward to having a very well-oiled machinery by the time the elections are called. But it's a day-by-day thing. Politics is a never-ending thing. So we have to continue working and improving as we go along every single day.
How much you lost the election by in 2020?
We lost the election by, I think it was 1,000 votes. They got 8,000, I think 400. Now we got 7,000, almost 300. So I think we lost by 1,100 votes in the last general elections. But what we also know is that when we check the records, we realized that the JLP did not get more votes than they got in the election before. So even though they won in 2020, they got more votes in 2016 when I defeated the same candidate that won the election. That's the MP now. But what really happened is that a lot of people who support the People's National Party did not come out to vote in the last election. I think that's a unique problem to Central Westmoreland. If you check the records, it happened island-wide. So we knew that there were some issues within our organization, not only in Central Westmoreland, but nationally in the PNP organization. And we have been working to fix all of those. So we are doing it locally and we are doing it nationally with regards to improving our organization. And we have done a lot of work in the last 4 to 5 years on that. And that is why we are confident that the machinery should be well oiled by time the Prime Minister decides to call the elections.
But my question is, in the local government election last year, what was the difference in terms of PNP to JLP votes?
1,400 votes.
Oh, 1,400 difference.
Yes.
And that is a local government election, so if you should go by that trend, certain people in a problem.
Exactly. So that, as I said, that was the first step in the process. And we even looked at the local elections and we know the areas where we also faltered. So it's a continuous improvement. So we improved in the local elections the other day, and we know we will continue to improve coming into the general elections.
That sounds good. That sounds good. So is there anything unique and different that you want to tell the people today as Central? Because a lot of them are watching. Is there anything unique or different you want to tell the people today as Central Westmoreland?
Well, the first thing I want to say to the people of Central Westmoreland and Jamaica as a whole. Dwayne Vaz is now the matured version of what you knew in 2014 when I just became member of parliament. I'm still the same hardworking and loyal person to the constituency, but as I said, I'm a lot more matured now. I listen a lot more. I fully understand the needs a lot more. Even though I'm from the constituency, being out there in politics, it gives you a different vision of what people really need and what people want. I tell the people all the time, I was born and bred here. This is where I'm from. I grew up here. I left Westmoreland when I went to the University of the West Indies. I came back to work. I started business here. I have nowhere going. I have my family right here also. So those rumors people always spread about me living in other parishes, it's simply not true. I've always been living right here in Central Westmoreland. So I just want the people to know I'm here and constituency, and I will ensure that I lead this constituency to the path of development and make Central Westmoreland a model constituency in Jamaica.
So you're a Roger Clark protege?
You could say me a Roger Clark and Dr. Blight protege, because I joined the YO and turned chairman for the constituency and parish while Dr. Blight was still a member of parliament. So that's where it started. So after Dr. Blight left and Roger came, I worked with him closely as his constituency consultant. I was still the chairman for the parish, for the People's National Party Youth Organization at the time. So I have done a lot of work in politics. After I became member of parliament, I was also the region chair for Region 6 at a point in time. So I fully understand the political work. I tell people all the while I was a cluster manager in elections in Roger's time back in 2007, 2011. So I understand the political work. I know what needs to be done. And as I said, I am working closely to the people to ensure that we get the desired results whenever that time is.
That sounds solid. That sounds good. I'm going to open the phone lines for the people of Central Westmoreland to call you. Let me put up the number for the people. Out where? Wow, Jamaica getting some breaking news, but the calls are important at this time. So, hello, good afternoon. No, hello, welcome. Good afternoon.
Yes, my question to Dwayne Vaz, my MP. The plan to do for entertainment in Westmoreland, Central Westmoreland. Because I get read that the cultural center turn some prison place or whatever. So what's the plan for entertainment in Central Westmoreland?
What's the plan?
I'm trying to be clear on the question. I'm not hearing you clearly. I heard something about the cultural center. You're saying what is the plans now for entertainment in Central Westmoreland since the center is being used for the police?
Yes. Yes.
Remember, it's the PNP who actually brought up the idea from Damian Crawford, was the minister responsible for entertainment, that we're going to have entertainment zones in every parish. What has happened is that this government has announced only one entertainment zone up by Rocky Point for the entire island. We have to now ensure that we identify more than one entertainment zone in our constituency, so that when we form government, we can put these into action. Because there are places down here, especially you have the Big Bridge area, you have different Paradise area, where we can find areas where if we have entertainment events, it will not directly affect persons who are living close by. Because that is the main thing that we have to find. Somewhere where the noise won't affect people. That is the issue that we had with the Landala Cultural Center. But as I have always said, they should have found an alternative before turning it into a police headquarters. But it is what it is now. The headquarters is being built there. We can't change that. So what we have to do now is to identify areas that we're going to use. We're already looking into some of them. It's just now for the test to be done, where you have to do the nice test to see if it is suitable for that. And we're also trying to figure out for the smaller events, like round robin and stuff, we're trying to figure out now how we can put a policy in place to accommodate stuff like that. So police won't harass people when they keep small events like that. So we have a lot of plans.
There is a
do something.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, teacher. Afternoon, Mr. Vaz. Akila here.
Good afternoon.
But I reside in Kingston. And the biggest problem I have as a child growing up, there is not much opportunity for us. It is limited. We think about tourism and the Great Kennedy. That was all we have down there. And a lot of young people work at Great Kennedy presently, and they are on contract. They don't get any benefit after they work for years. And that is a problem I have even in my family, young people. I know you know the young family in Hatfield, your family too. But the problem is that they are not getting permanently to kill themselves to go back to school. And there's not much given towards them to work. And when they get like a 2-month break, how can you send your child to school when you get a 2-month leave? That person has to hustle and provide for their child otherwise. And Grace Kennedy is doing that for years. It's not allegedly, I know for a fact, because my family stopped working there because of that. And presently they are working in the hotel, and it's the same problem. They take long.
So you're talking therefore about improving contract permanent workers.
Exactly, improving that. Also, Godfrey Stewart is in the center of Sablamar, and there's a lovely playfield. For years they said they're going to fix it. You have the primary school right here that shares it, and there's nothing on that playfield developed to make others can play basketball, netball, you name it. And behind Godfrey Stewart, there is an open land there. The sports facility in Westmoreland is very poor. It's Manning School is the only school you can say have almost all the facilities to develop in sports. Westmoreland hardly hear anybody at CHAP. Godfrey Stewart don't have the financial help in sports. And I went to that school, and you know the reputation of that school. The worst of the worst students go there, but quality and products like me come out living in Kingston, but scared to come in Westmoreland because there is not much down there to attract us back down here to work. I am a self-employed person. I have my own business. I wanted to set up my business in Westmoreland, and that is in the beauty industry. And it's like, you know, that family undermine these skills. That you are a nail technician or you are a masseuse, they don't see value in it as a form of job to say they can make more from it. So they go in the hotel industry, they set up spa in the hotels, but they have to rent the rooms to be able to provide that service. The hotels are no longer open the store, the spa industry for them. You have to rent it. So when tourism is down, how these people provide for their family? Westmoreland needs me. I'm passionate about Westmoreland, even though I'm living in Kingston, but more needs to be done. We are looking at lands. You said it. The lands are holding back people to achieve more. We want solid structure to people. Like board house is not undermined, but come on, Westmoreland is too way back.
All right, Ophelia. All right, I get it. I get you solid in your argument. I know you're passionate, but we're
I want more for Westmoreland, sir. I want more, and I'm going to hold you accountable, sir. You know why? It's the first time in life I ever vote. And I'm voting for the People National Party because I see somewhere there is hope. And I'm holding you accountable because I'm from that parish and my family is down there going to vote for you. No question asked.
All right, Ophelia.
Firstly, in response, let me say I thank you and the family for having the confidence in me and the party, for giving us that support. I would fully appreciate it. And I guess I want to hold me accountable. You touched on quite a few things, so it shows how passionate you are about the parish. I'm going quickly just touch on them. I know you spoke of the sporting facilities. While I was there, I actually built multi-purpose sports at Mannings, Petersfield, and Frome. We were supposed to, Godfrey Stewart was next, but you know what happened with regards to us in the election, because we're trying to do at least one per year. We also did one at the Land Island Sports Complex that I see out there. So we have invested a lot in the sports and facilities in our parish, but a lot more needs to be done to harness the talent that we have. Because we have a lot of talented people. Talent is not the issue we have down here. It is just the support that needs to be given. And we are pledging that support. We have done it before, and we will continue to do it. The housing situation, we all know of it. It's the same problem with the land titling, why the housing situation is like that. So many people were scared to build concrete structures because it's never for them land. So a man never so brave to build a concrete structure, so he build a board house, so he can move it in case anything happens. That is why we are also pledging that we must regularize as many settlements as we can, so people can have their land titles and stop being afraid of, so they have to build temporary structures instead of building permanent structures. So we must do that to get Westmoreland where it's supposed to be. And when we talk about the contracting now, we have heard it every day. We know that many people suffer from this contract situation, especially in situations where, for example, you get hired for 3 months and every 3 months you have to renew a contract, which means that you don't have any benefits to get. We, as a party, have stated already that when we return to power, we are going to fix this contract situation because we understand the plight of the people. So any contract situation that is abusive, we will ensure that we get these things right so people can benefit from what they're supposed to get when the time is right. So I know it's a sticky situation sometimes between contract employees and permanent employees. So it's not everything, it's not every job that people are on contracts that will be able to change. But as I said, those abusive contract relations that is every 2 and 3 month thing, no, that has to be cut out under the next People's National Party administration. So we are committed to getting the work done. And as I said, the comrade leader and next prime minister is very confident that he and the team will be able to turn Jamaica around and put us back on the right track.
Okay. Yes. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, caller.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, caller. Welcome.
Yes. Good afternoon. I want to ask this question from last night at the meeting, Mr. Vaz.
Okay, at the meeting last night.
Yes. That woman beat her that in Pablomas there. He went on the road in Landalo where you're living and talking about he's the one that get the contract to fix the road. So I want you to explain to the people of Westmoreland and let them know that they jeopardized you and that you did not get that road. And now they give him the NHT money to fix it. But he's
first of all, is the Land Island Phase 1 scheme what they're referring to. And NHT did not give him any money to fix it. No, I'm going to explain. No, It is an NHT scheme road program. That program started in 2019 while I was member of parliament, where the NHT came and toured Landella Phase 1 and the Shrewsbury Housing Scheme, both schemes, because they were approved from then, from 2019. We were told at the time that the work would begin in 6 months because they just required some information from the parish council, which was submitted to the NHT, and they had declared that we would begin in 6 months. Well, that 6 months took 6 years. So we lost the election in 2020. We didn't hear anything about it. I said on many programs that I have that what is happening with the Landella Phase 1 and Shrewsbury Road. So the NHT now has finally decided that it is time for it to be fixed. It has nothing to do with him as member of parliament. He was a councillor at the time when I was MP. He was councillor for the Petersfield area at the time. So he would have known exactly what was happening, and he would have known that it has nothing to do with him. So it is just politicking now where he's trying to make it seem like he had any influence on the road being done. He has absolutely none. As I said, it's an NHT scheme road program.
Here knows because they have a lot of people out there who is saying that is he fixing the road and all about politics. But I know it's NHT. But because he get the money to fix it, he's using it now to say that road give to him to fix it. The people must vote for him.
I understand, but what I realize based on my research over Phase 1, the persons who are saying that are the persons who support him. The same persons who would have supported him anyway if the scheme was being fixed or not. Is the hardcore JLP supporters are over there saying that he's the one fixing. All of the regular people over there, whether they are PNP or they don't belong to any party, know exactly what is happening on the scheme. So that is the situation. So only the hardcore laborers talking that. So we're not paying them any mind because that is what they will say anyway. But we are telling the people of Jamaica, it's an NHT scheme road program. It has nothing to do with it. It is being implemented by the parish council. So the council for the area, who is Devon Thomas, who is the person, is leading the process by meeting with the contractor and stuff. It has nothing to do with him as member of party.
You hear?
I know.
All right. Have a good one. Have a good one.
Thank you.
If I never stop her today, Jamaica should have lived on that 1.2 right now at 2 o'clock. But at least she's passionate about the misinformation.
Very, yes, she's passionate about it because she knows the truth.
Out there because she's saying she knows how the road situation go. But Jamaica have to cut it with her because she should have fooled the show. But what are your last words to the public today, Mr. Vaz, as we end this program on the Power Hour?
My last words to Jamaica. I am dedicated and willing and has the passion and the vision to lead Central Westmoreland back on the path of development. I'm asking you, whether you're PNP, whether you're JLP, or you're no P, choose the better representative, choose the better party, vote for the People's National Party in the next general elections, and let us bring Jamaica forward. Time come, Jamaica, for us to get back on track.
Okay, Jamaica, that was Mr. Dwayne Vaz, MP candidate for Central Westmoreland today, speaking about his development plans for his constituency. And we're going to hold him account to when he wins the constituency, that all these things that he speaks about today, I'll bring up the evidence to remind him what him say he would have done in what time frame. We're holding politicians to account, Jamaica. But thank you, Mr. Vaz. I wish you all the best, and I see you walking down Duke Street in the next election to come. All right? Bless you. Bless you. Jamaica, you'll see me back tonight at 8 p.m. Until then, keep well, keep positive, and remember, when they go low, we keep high. My name is Andre Stevens, and this was Midday Connection with Dwayne Vaz. Walk good and stay blessed, Jamaica.